When your body starts showing symptoms of an autoimmune disease or cancer, they kind of all coincide with each other. And the scary part is when you're first trying to figure out what's wrong with you. The scary part is all these emotions, all these thoughts that come through your head. And I want you to remember one thing. Just remember one thing when you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, especially if you think you're dealing with a chronic illness. You've probably been dealing with these symptoms for a few years before you even get diagnosed. I've been dealing with symptoms since the age of 10, and they've always came very mild and in different episodes. I started with migraines, then I started with pain in my mid back, then it started progressing all the way back up to my upper neck, and now I have a full-blown diagnosis of fibromyalgia. But that is how it happens. It starts happening in pieces, and you start getting symptoms here and there until you get a full flare, and then boom, that's when you start freaking out even more, because you're like, I know something's going on with my body, I just don't know what. And you start freaking out because you're like, is this a food allergy? Is it a gut issue? Am I dying from cancer? And your first thought is, I'm gonna die. But I want you to know one thing. If you have been dealing with these symptoms for 3, 4, 5 years and they haven't progressed, they haven't gotten worse, they haven't subsided, you're not going to die. You can get an answer. And the best way to get an answer is not by going to the same medical provider that keeps on denying you that referral, or that gynecologist that won't refer you out, or your PCP that doesn't believe that you could have lupus. They don't want to take another ANA, or your rheumatologist that did an ANA test beforehand, came out positive, then they did a second one, came out negative, and now they say you don't have any autoimmune condition, but yet your face still swells up like mine does. I know I have lupus. My face swells up with food allergies, with different things. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that I don't have it. So what do? You go to different providers. Just because your rheumatologist tells you don't have lupus doesn't mean you don't. You know yourself better than anybody else. So the biggest thing not to do is freak out, especially if you've been dealing with the symptoms already. So just remind yourself, I've been dealing with this one day at a time. Rheumatology is by far one of the hardest specialties to get into, because there isn't that many, and there's so many people becoming sick from autoimmune diseases, especially like people like myself. Especially after COVID-19, a lot of people are getting diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, and etc. So like I said, don't stress yourself out more than you already are. If one provider doesn't do what you want, go to the next provider. If that provider doesn't do what you want, go to the next provider. But what you don't do is sit there and feel sorry for yourself and cry when you're not doing anything about it. You've been dealing with the symptoms for a few years now. You'll be okay to wait another few months for that specialty. But if your PCP does not want to give you those referrals, or the other specialists don't, please, I'm begging you, seek help somewhere else, because that was my problem. My first PCP didn't want to give me a lot of my referrals. My second PCP did. My rheumatology didn't want to give me some referrals, but my PCP did. So I asked different doctors. I wouldn't tell them that I asked other doctors. Also, don't share too much information from other doctors if you've gone to other clinics. They don't need to know that you're getting a third or fourth opinion. Just tell them, I had an appointment with my PCP. I had a positive ANA, and I want to get tested. I want to get a second opinion, because obviously PCPs don't handle autoimmune diseases unless it's like fibromyalgia, but that's not even an autoimmune disease. They just finally did research that they think it's an antibody. But the best way for you to get diagnosed with an autoimmune is by going to different doctors. Now, insurance-wise, apply for Medicaid if you don't make that much money. Then you'll get a letter of denial. Then you'll go to the health marketplace and you apply for insurance through them. Some people get the full amount and they don't have to pay anything. I recently had to stop working. I filed for disability. So I have my insurance through the health marketplace, and I'm currently going to Baylor Scott and White, one of the best clinics ever. They have all the specialties there. I have a cardiologist, a urologist, a podiatrist, a PCP, pain management, and a bunch of other fucking specialties, a rheumatologist, a bunch of other specialties that I don't really want to talk about, but an allergist. But whatever you do, don't give up. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But please, 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 please get answers. Don't just fucking sit there and believe, oh yeah, you don't have anything. That's what my rheumatologist said to me. And then I ended up having Raynaud's, and she didn't do any extra fucking testing. Don't let them tell you that you're crazy. Don't listen to that shit. Leave that shit at the doctor's office. When you walk out that bitch, be like, this doctor's not good enough for me, I'm getting another opinion. But don't let them know that you're seeking a second or third or fourth opinion. Please. Because when you do that, that's when they start writing on their notes, oh yeah, this person is seeking, they've already gotten a diagnosis of this and that, or they got tested for this and they don't have anything. Don't do that, because that's when doctors will start looking at you like you're crazy, and they'll start judging you and saying you want you want hydrocodone, or you just want pain medicine, you just want drugs. That's when they start talking bad about you. So don't do that. Have a great day.